Lives to play with no rehearsal. Take it personal, cause the devil is a lie. Hey.
I'm telling you the truth.
Hey. It's all in what you do. Hey. Some things you gotta do. Hey, 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 hey. Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We got a hot one today, y'all. We got a hot one today. Immediately following both co-main events on the Charlo card. If you haven't bought it, figure out how you're gonna buy it. And if you don't, guess what? You get to listen to me and Tony Harrison and I talk shit and swallow spit, commentate, answer questions, live chat, live conversation in real time. Now, I'm just gonna tell you now, they're gonna steal my idea again. Dante and I was the first person to ever do live boxing chats ever 5, 6, 7 years ago. We were the first people to ever do it. And that's a fact. And so you can anticipate the big wigs like, you know what? Live chat and conversation with the fans in real time as an option for the contemporary audience as opposed to listening to Al Bernstein. And that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Anyways, man, as I digress, man, let's jump into this, man. By now, shout out to Blue Blood too, because I saw his video on this as well. And I'm gonna just take I'm gonna navigate a different direction, but everything that he said in that video was awesome, is awesome. And Mike Tyson basically said, cut the fan on. Basically said, Tank, trust yourself. Why haven't you fought Loma? You need to fight all these brothers, and you have to get the bag, to get the money, and all that is true. And by most accounts, people are going to say, well, Fred, what are you talking about? Well, before I dive into this, we do know that Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather have had this beef for 20 years. But it also seemed, because I want to disclaim that, because people are going to try and bring that into why Mike Tyson may have said it. But it felt like he was coming from an authentic place. And how I know he was coming from how one reason that may lead to him coming from an authentic space was Leonard Ellerbe's reaction to this. You can't hide your spirit. In the top tweet, it says, yo, what did it say? I can't see on that screen. It says, yo, Javante, that live with Mike Tyson was fire. That was his emotional reaction to that, because he actually responded to Mike Tyson telling him to basically take money out of Leonard Ellerbe's pocket. You know what I'm saying? That's the funniest part ever. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to trust yourself, bet on yourself. You don't need your promoters. You don't need no managers. You go negotiate with the fighters, is what I told you guys to do, is what I advised 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Anthony Joshua, stop listening to Eddie Hearn and talk to Deontay Wilder. And then I doubled back again all this year. I've been saying Earl Spence need to talk to Terrence Crawford, and fuck 70-30, 65-35. Y'all have the conversation. It's going to take weeks. Y'all be honest with one another, and y'all walk into the networks with a package deal. You understand? And y'all tell Al Heyman, Bob Arum, Billy Wanger, and the heads at ESPN or Disney, what should they pay for this fight? It takes courage. You're going to win long term, I guarantee you. Because the people who control their careers typically win. And you want to know the greatest example of that? The promoters. The fighters put their fighting lives in the hands of the promoters, and the promoters are always here long after the fighters retire. And as I digress back into this, I thought Mike Tyson was being very sincere. And Floyd Mayweather had a game plan, and some may say it worked. I thought it worked. $1 billion plan, it worked. I I thought he and Al Heyman were a super team, a super duel together. And if if the if Floyd would have done this by himself, I don't know how wealthy he would have been. But I'll say this: they have done a great job at um, building each other's brand. Uh, Al Heyman built the PBC brand off of the potential and the realities of Floyd Mayweather's talents, which turned Floyd Mayweather into $1 billion. Only God knows how much money Al Heyman will make through perpetuity because of that. And we all know it's well documented Floyd had some tax issues prior to Marquez. Al Heyman paid his taxes off, and they've both had a marriage and they've lived happily ever after. And but I just want to make some claims, right? Some short claims. What they did was exceptional, right? What they did was exceptional. Okay. And I'm gonna share this, and I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from with this. Let's share the screen. This video may be longer than anticipated, but you guys will rock with me, I'm sure. Oh, that's Dad, not Dad. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather Sr., man. I really like Floyd Mayweather Sr. Rest in peace, Roger Mayweather, as well. All right, let's do this one more time. Floyd Mayweather. Oh, the junior. Got to put the junior on it. All right, we can see that now. I'm going to make this full screen. All right. Now, you guys like, Fred, what the hell are you talking about? 2007, he fought Oscar De La Hoya, right? Maybe he should have rematched Oscar De La Hoya. Maybe, maybe not. But you can't argue that because he fought Ricky Hatton, right? And then we can go to Marquez. And we all know he won 12 rounds and nothing. And I'm just going off memory right now. And then he fought Shane Mosley, right? Some may say he should have fought Shane Mosley instead of Carlos Baldemir or Andre Berto or whoever else it was. It was a champion back there. I can't remember that Costa Zoo or somebody like that. But more importantly, Shane Mosley should have fought sooner, right? And you can see 2006 Zab Judah to 2010 Shane Mosley, right? And then the next black guy he fought 2010, 2015 Andre Berto. So he fought in 10 years, he fought 3 black guys. Okay. I thought maybe he should have rematched Shane Mosley. He left some money on the table there. He fought Victor Ortiz. He went to life or death with Miguel Cotto, but he also chose that there's levels to this. But the point I want to make is not every plan is perfect, but it can be labeled as it worked. I will forever say Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather should have fought 3 times. They left about $1.5 billion on the table by not fighting 2 more times. The fans and everyone would have accepted this. He left some money on the table by not fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez 2 years later. You understand? Or a year and a half later. He could have built that fight up and he would have did the same thing to him just because of fast twitch muscle fibers. You understand? And but the one great thing they did, they conned us in the Maidana fight and they conned us in the Conor McGregor fight. Genius idea. Fucking genius, right? And Maidana 2 and Conor McGregor were fucking genius moves. Everyone involved, they did a hell of a job with that, right? But the point I want to make is Floyd left at least $2 billion on the table with just 3 fights, 2 more Manny Pacquiao fights, and a rematch with Shane Mosley. He should have fought Shane Mosley sooner and then double back and fought him again. And obviously Shane Mosley was a shot fighter for 10 rounds, right? So there's a lot. Maybe he could have rematched Zab Judah because the press for that shit was amazing. As people say now, they did that for the culture. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of money. Maybe he should have rematched Oscar De La Hoya, but that was personal. Maybe didn't want to give Oscar any more money. You know, I heard the story of they wanted to advance him some more money and he turned it down. Let's see. So there's a lot. So they did a lot of good, but overall, I think they left about $1.5 billion on the table, and it's just me being pragmatic. And there's nothing wrong with that plan, right? But maybe you should have. Well, Andre Berta lost to Victor Ortiz, so you can say that. But at the end of the day, understand the space in which I'm coming from, fighters. No one has your best interest in mind than you, because your best friend, you're paying him to be your best friend. No one wants to be alone on the road traveling. I think Tank Davis needs to take heed. All right. Uh get someone independent. I'm pretty sure you got many people in your life that you have confidence in, that's not on your payroll, and you can just go to them for advice, and you can do some pros and cons type conversations with them. But I know I'm speaking to Tank Davis and what um Floyd Mayweather and them are doing. I'll just say this. Floyd Mayweather did it without a promoter, being his own promoter. Why can't Tank? He only had Al Heyman as his advisor. That's it. Floyd was his own manager, promoter, fighter, you know, and people can't grasp it because they can't get over. Well, Floyd's a billionaire. Floyd made hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes, this has nothing to do with that. Isolate that in your emotional attachment to his wealth. It's just amazing how dumb motherfuckers are attached to other people's wealth and accomplishments. You know, I just hope and pray that people understand what the power that Mike Tyson was saying. And although I've been saying I don't have the reach as a Mike Tyson, I've never been in the ring, and God knows Mike Tyson is a part of the fabric of boxing. Uh, and hopefully every fighter heard what he was saying to Tank Davis and takes control of their career. Al Heyman is an asset to you. Yet Al Heyman is not the primary variable, right? Bob Arum is an asset to you. Yet Bob Arum is not the primary variable. You are. Who's the other promoter? Big time promoter. Um, that's it. So but you get Don King is an asset to you. He is not the primary variable. You are. And I've said this many times on this channel. Boxing is a dumb and poor man's sport at the genesis of it. No man that goes to Harvard with a PhD in finance and economics gonna say, "Hey, I think I want my son to be a boxer." Boxing is a cheap way out of the hood. You go to Big Five, you get some $20 gloves, you get some wraps. It's gonna cost you $50 to train in the gym for a year. You don't even buy the boxing shoes for a year or 2 years because you don't know if the kid is serious. You don't even spar. You may not have to spar. You just hit the heavy bag, but they got the sparring stuff there. You know what I mean? And so that's the point I'm making. You know, yes, there are outlier experiences of like a Patrick Day who had a college degree. Rest in peace, Patrick Day. Thank you for everything. Um, but I would say the upper echelon, 80% of fighters, 85% from fighters don't come with a college degree, don't come out of a financing career, don't come off of owning properties and then jumps into boxing. That typically doesn't happen. You know, it's typically, man, I was bullied. I needed a way out. I needed some level of concentration, needed some discipline, needed a man in my life. Needed a mentor in my life, you know, because there are female coaches as well. Shout out to Dennis Douglin, right? His mom's a coach. Um, but at the end of the day, what Floyd did for his career worked for him. How did Floyd get there? He paid $750,000, released himself from Jay Prince and Bob Arum, and went off and did his own thing. Now he did his own thing, and it didn't work out so much, right? Up and down, left, right, and then he hooked up with his savior, Al Heyman, and they created the plan. Yes, and here's the catch: Al Heyman had to convince Floyd Mayweather to do some things to be an asset to Al Heyman, and then Al Heyman had to reset some things to be an asset for Floyd. So they had some duality. They had to make some conscious concessions for both each other's benefit, and that's commendable and respectable. And if you have that type of relationship, it works because Al is still in business and Floyd's a billionaire. So, but Tank doesn't need Floyd um, right now anymore. Maybe he could pay $750,000, and just because at the end of the day, Floyd is not promoting him. I haven't seen him on his Twitter, Instagram. I haven't seen them do a live. I haven't even seen them do an Instagram live together. You know, I haven't even seen them something together. I've seen videos of them training, but that's kind of died out. Floyd has a lifestyle that and that's what I said. People said, "Oh, you're hating." Floyd ain't spending 8 weeks with a fighter. Trust me, not right now, not right now. And kudos to him for having the lifestyle he wants to live, but he's not spending 8 weeks with a fighter. Uh, um, so I think Tank needs to conjure up a plan and have a think tank around him. And I'm using the name Tank, but I'm speaking of everyone. Okay, y'all got to fight each other. And how I know I've been fighting for this. Uh, Mr. Haney will tell you I've been telling him to fight Gary Russell since last September. It wasn't even thought about. I literally manifested that fight. Literally manifested that fucking fight. No lie. I don't want to cry no more. Man, why y'all didn't tell me about Mac Miller years ago? I ain't know. I just found out about Mac Miller last night, dog. That 2009 is heavy. Whoo, I don't want to cry no more. Mm. I manifested. I brought that shit to conception. It was an idea, and I was like, people are going to duck Gary Russell, and people are going to duck Devin Haney. Watch me, trust me. And what happened? And that's why I believe they need to fight each other. No matter who they fight next, it's just a sidestep fight. It's not like a wow, whoa, man, it's gonna stop the boxing world. We're gonna watch it because we're addicted to this shit. But your girlfriend is not watching it. Your auntie's not watching it. Your auntie's not calling you. Hey, you watching the fight tonight? You're not gonna get them calls for Gary Russell Fortuna. Gary Russell. I mean, what's his name? Devin Haney and Gamboa. Nah, maybe your neighbor, because yeah, that's what y'all do. But at the end of the day, I've been telling y'all for years, man. Y'all got to corner the market space. Corner the market space. Maximize the market space. Y'all 4, 5, 6 fighters at 135. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Gary Russell, Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko. Y'all don't have to talk to y'all tell y'all promoters what to do. We're doing this fight for $10 million. We'll wait. Tank Davis, Devin Haney. We're doing this fight for $15 million. He get 8, I get 6. He get 9, I get 6. I can't do math, right? But you guys know the math. Or we split it, or we bust it down the middle. I'm telling you, everything is negotiable in life. Every day I am negotiating, whether it's for assistance on the job and I got to hire workers, or whether it's or whether I go to Home Depot and I'm like, hey, homie, hey, it's chipped right here. Can I get 75% off of this shit? Especially when you buying that when you buying that 20-minute, just stab a motherfucking hole in it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So anything with bags in it, you just it has a hole in it. They give you 75% off the top. You know what I mean? So I'm forever negotiating. Guess what? So are you with your kids. What do you want for dinner? What do you want to do Saturday? Well, if you do your homework, we'll do this. If you do A, we'll do B. If you do B, we'll do C and D. You know what I mean? Everything is the art of negotiation. It's not what you worth, it's how well you negotiate. All right. And these are the stone cold truths. And the reason why I will never, ever have to clock in ever again in my fucking life is because of the art of negotiation. The reason why I'm, you know what I mean, it's just real, man. You know, art of negotiation, guys. Go read the Cliff Note version of the art of negotiation. There's hundreds of YouTube, thousands of videos on the art of negotiation. You know what I mean? Put down the fucking joysticks. You know what I mean? Stop listening to Lil Baby, HDD, whatever. What's these niggas' names now? Lil Gunna, Vertical. What's this? Vertical. What's these niggas' name? Uzi Versa. What's his name? Lil Uzi. Like the fuck. Lil Uzi. Like, who the fuck? You believe that? Lil Uzi? Anyhow, man, be a man at the end of the day, man. Pull your pants up, be a man. You know what I mean? And live your best life, man. Invite everyone to the party, if you know what I mean, in terms of business. You know what I mean? Hey, negotiate here, negotiate here, negotiate there. You know what I mean? And never rock. Um, and always remember, there's no honor amongst thieves. Okay, so be genuine and real. That's why I never got worried about no one at my front door. You know what I mean? I robbed Peter, never robbed Peter. I borrowed from Peter and I borrowed from Paul, but I paid them back in 2011, 2012, and now we business partners. You get what I'm saying? That's the ideal and the mindset. So anyhow, man, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Tank, hopefully you take heed. Buy yourself out the contract and let Al Heyman work for you. Because realistically, all you need is Al Heyman. If you do, you know what I mean? He can navigate the roles, but always remember, Al Heyman will be in business after you retire. So if you understand that, you understand that he's doing, he has to play, he has to balance the sheet. You know what I mean? He has to make sure that the bottom line is equal to what's above it. Get what I'm saying? Not to say he's a bad guy. That doesn't disqualify him as having great character. Maybe he discloses that, hey, this is what it's worth. This is a $10 million fight. I'm getting my 3% and you're taking the rest. Maybe that's how I've never discussed it with him, but I would believe that Al Heyman does something similar to that because of he has so much trust in these streets, and that's a beautiful thing. So everyone do their part. All right. Tank, right now, all you need is Al Heyman. You ain't been on no motherfucking TV show with Leonard Ellerbe. You ain't been on no live with Floyd. Now watch they start doing it. Watch they start doing it. Guarantee you. I ain't seen it. Anyhow, man. Barbershop conversations, man. The Floyd Mayweather model worked. But in the social media world, you can't hide like you can. It's so hard to hide. Everything comes to light. Everything comes to light. You know what I mean? So Floyd got $1 billion out the deal, and Al Heyman got PBC, and he has a stronghold on the entire sport of boxing. So they plan worked. What plan that you create with a genius like an Al Heyman or whoever else is in your life will work for you. But stop depending on these promoters. Y'all don't hear me though. Boxing is like the record industry, dog. Boxing is like the record. They own all your masters. You don't even fighters don't even own their fights. If I'm fighting for 12 rounds for my livelihood and my life, I will own that fight. Why you think? Let me tell y'all something. You know how Top Rank makes a great percentage of their money? They own all their fights. You don't believe me? Ask Bob Arum. Matter of fact, go watch my interviews with Bob Arum. They'll tell you a lot. Read between the lines and understand. He owns the entire catalog. Every time you see a Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali commercial when he owns it or some shit like that, they gotta pay a licensing fee to who? Bob Arum. Perpetuity money. Nipsey Hussle called that mailbox money. How does your mailbox money look? Fighter A, fighter B, fighter C, fighter D. Barbershop conversations, man. All these videos are coming into fruition now. Oh, Fred, you're a hater, but peace.